Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, of course, Monday being the first day of the week, we have an interesting week ahead of us because earnings season has officially started. And also on top of that, Tesla's earnings are on Wednesday after market. So very exciting week ahead of us. Now, if you guys enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's just jump right into it. Tesla ending the day up just a tad. It was up actually up almost 3.5%, I think, or 4% at its peak today, but only ended the day up about 0.16%. So fairly flat, ending the day at just over $721, right? Nothing too crazy. Now, before we jump into Tesla, I want to take a look at the VIX, right? You can see the VIX in this descending wedge that broke out. But unfortunately, for the VIX at least, it did collapse back under, right? And on top of that, you can also see on the 1 hour at least, two candles that got rejected pretty much at the breakout level. Or if you just go to the 4 hour, it just gives you a slightly better, I guess, look, if you will. But nonetheless, the point is the fact that even though it broke out, it was a fake out breakout, similar to what happened to Tesla over here. But the VIX tried to rally out of it once again, but this time got rejected. It's actually twice, you can even argue, right? Today twice. So that's something to consider, which could potentially be a decent sign for the market, because the market was actually up a decent amount, though it pretty much plummeted the second half, especially the end of the day, pretty aggressively. So that's something to keep in mind. So Tesla did outperform the market today, which is definitely not that bad. But nonetheless, let's go over Tesla. So first and foremost, guys, there's essentially major things to look out for, right? Number one, we did break out of the bear flag, or sorry, the bear wedge. Now there's a lot of lines here. Excuse me if it's confusing. I wish I could just take out these white lines and just keep these colored ones, I don't know if we can do that or not, but whatever. Anyway, the idea here is the fact that we were in this bear wedge, right, that we broke out of once already, then got collapsed back under, right? It was a fake out breakout, kind of similar to what happened to the VIX here, right? Got collapsed back under extremely quickly, and then we once again just got rejected a few times, and then finally made it out, pretty much pre-market this morning, rallied up, got rejected at 750, which is a support, in this case, rather, a resistance line I do have. Several times, I got rejected around this area. Very, very big one. That and 760 are both like, it's a pretty big range for supply. But as we started selling off the second half of the day, Tesla came back down to about 720, pretty much confirming, confirming the breakout of this bear wedge, which is a good sign. So essentially, what do the bulls want to see, right? What do you want to see if you're bullish? If you want to see Tesla maybe rally, have a good, rest of the month, let's say. You pretty much don't want to see it fall back into this wedge. I mean, it can fall back, but you'd want to see it exit out like extremely quickly. And I mean like within the same day, within ideally like an hour, honestly, or something like that, right? Within that same day. You don't want it to like close in there. That'd be really, really bad. And especially like really fall into it. Pretty much you don't want this to happen. We're essentially doing this. We're replicating this exact scenario right here that we had like a week or so ago. Again, literally the same thing again, but this time you can see we are so far holding this confirmation of this breakout on the blue line, which we couldn't do over here. We just had a massive candle that just collapsed back under, right? So the fact that we're holding this now is a good sign, and we want to essentially continue holding this, which pretty much means that we don't want to fall too far below like 715, I would say, honestly, right? Around 715 tomorrow and Wednesday-ish, 715. Wednesday could be a little bit lower, but like generally around that 715-ish level, give or take a few points, right? You want to kind of maintain that and essentially not fall back in. So that's good. That's a good sign though. The fact that we broke out, came back down, gap filled the breakout from this morning, and on top of that held so far is a good sign. I like that. That means that so far it's looking pretty decent. On top of that, we also have now new resistance above us. This red line, of course, which you can see started all the way up here. This was kind of where this initial fake out breakout got rejected at, and we kind of got rejected at essentially the same type of level today. So this is essentially acting now as another resistance. So pretty much we want to stay above the blue line and eventually break above the red line, which throughout this week will be somewhere around the low to mid 740s, right? That's kind of what you want to see. Those are the key levels that you really want to pay attention to. But ultimately, guys, if we do break out and continue holding this and, rock it up, again, target ultimately sometime this month will be about 800, give or take, maybe a little bit higher, but for now, we'll just say 800, just make it simple, which I think still ultimately will just be creating a, what's it called? A bear flag as opposed to this bear pennant, right? That's kind of ultimately what we are going to be creating from what I understand. So we'll see what happens with that, but Tesla did get rejected extremely hard, though to be fair, the market got rejected extremely hard as well. So it's not like it's just Tesla. Tesla, if anything, actually did pretty okay today, given the market conditions. The QQQ is down almost a full percent. Tesla's actually green, right? So not too bad. But you can see the QQQ is still kind of within this bear flag. The SPY over here, a little more interesting. Dropped back down out of the bear flag, but it is also inside this little other kind of, I guess wedge, if you will, over here, the red lines, of course. So it's in this like interesting zone right now, which is very like undecided almost in a way. But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it falls back down a little bit lower, maybe to like 377, potential gap fills around this area, and then bounces up, and we'll see from there. But that's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment, guys. For Tesla, of course, let's take a quick look at the major key levels that we want to pay attention to. The first one I actually want to start with is going to be the 50 moving average, which we are now above, which is actually fantastic. I wasn't sure where it was, but we're actually above it. We did actually use it as support today, which also, again, still coincides with the blue line. So we did bounce off of that so far, which is great. So that's actually good. That's actually really, really nice. I do like that. So as long as we continue holding that general level, fantastic. EMA above it, Bollinger Band well above it. Got rejected right at the green line, though, but still above the middle white line, which is fantastic. Could potentially, maybe Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, honestly. Wouldn't be surprised as this kind of starts coming up to meet us, potentially, come back down to a touch one more time before a potential rally after earnings. That's a possibility, not financial advice. Make your own, decisions, do your own research, but that's definitely a possibility in my opinion. So we'll see what happens with that. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow is a little bit more of a flat day, and then, maybe Wednesday starts getting more volatile for Tesla. We'll see what happens though, of course. But ultimately, I am feeling a little bit more bullish than bearish so far, right? Mainly because, again, I don't like rallying into an earnings. To me, that almost just screams like a trap, a bull trap, right? It just screams a bull trap. So I don't like rallying into. I would much rather sell off into earnings than rally into earnings personally, assuming I have no position, because then I can take a position. But if we're rallying into earnings and I have no position, then I'm probably going to stay away or be very, very, very careful, or like play with very, very little money. You know what I mean? But the fact that we kind of, sold off, I personally think is good. I like this. I like this kind of, potential weakness, I guess, but, it just gives you nice confirmation. I personally like to buy more on like pain than, euphoria. So I have sold some puts. I have sold a 700 put, which I'm personally okay with. If that at some point potentially fills and I buy 100 shares here, whatever, I'm okay with that. And I also sold a 680 and a 660, I believe was today. I think those are the 3 puts I sold for this week. It's a weekly puts. But nonetheless, moving over to the 10-day moving average, you can see still above that and above that. So we're pretty much above every key factor right now. We're above the 50, the 10, the 5, the Bollinger Band, the 21 EMA. We're above every single key, like short-term-ish, like momentum indicator, if that makes a lot of sense, right? Even the 50-day moving average, you can argue, is like kind of short-term momentum, right? It's slightly more longer term. It's like short to medium, I guess you can say, but still fantastic news. So ultimately, guys, I personally think Tesla is looking quite good. The volume you can see here is quite heavy. So we're kind of bouncing around this area where there's a lot of volume, potentially a lot of buying pressure coming in around this general level that we're at right now, being, the 720-ish, maybe even slightly lower. So, essentially things are going pretty okay. I'm pretty okay. A lot of people might see today's movement and be like, wow, that's really, really bad. That's really bearish. At least for Tesla, I think it's fine. I'm personally not worried, which is why I took some bullish positions. To be fair, most of them are fairly safe. The 700 one, I guess, is not like the super, super safe. But again, I literally have no shares at the moment. So if I am forced to buy some shares there, I'm okay with that. It's fine. Having a little bit of a position, it's fine. It's not a big deal to me. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. I'm perfectly happy with the way things are going so far today. Definitely going to be, important to keep track of this and how we move for the rest of the week, especially leading up into earnings. How Wednesday will be, of course. So we'll definitely want to keep our eyes peeled for that. But ultimately, guys, I'm feeling pretty okay. I'm not too worried. In fact, clearly I'm setting up some, bullish positions here. So I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm liking the way it's moving so far. Again, if anything changes, I'll let you guys know, tomorrow's video or whenever, if ever it happens. But for now, I'm okay with it. I'm liking the way it looks. So we'll see what happens with that, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.